Well, 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 here we go again with more Microsoft bullshit. Now, our issues with Windows 10 actually start from this radio here. What could I possibly mean by that? How does this radio have anything to do with Windows 10? Well, if you're unaware, I have a low-power radio transmitter. It's a Talking House... oh hell, it's this thing. TH5.0 or whatever the hell they call it, which broadcasts a AM radio station, because the only good radio station worth listening to I can't pick up around here. It's on around 10:50 a.m., right around here. So I was working on this radio, or not working on it, actually I'm done working on it. I was working on another radio, that one over there. That's the one that I made a post of a while back. I'm sure you can... Are you going to make me get up because the Zoom doesn't work? This radio right here. Anyway, it was working fine yesterday. This radio belongs to someone else, and I was fixing to return it to them. And I said, okay, well, let me just make sure, because it's been a while, one more time that this radio is still indeed functioning. So I turn it on, tuning around, and this is what should be, this is 1050, this is what should be my own music playing. But I've got nothing. So I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on here? Because this should be fully automated. So I come over here, and I turn the monitor on. This computer, I've got a KVM switch hooked up. I've got an Optiplex 980, which is irrelevant. And I've got this Optiplex 3040 here, which is what runs my, my radio station here. So I turn on the monitor. This incredibly dim monitor. And I'm greeted with this. Oh boy. Here we go again. Start planning for Windows 10 end of support. Starting October 2025, Microsoft will no longer provide free security updates for Windows 10. We're reaching out to thank you for your loyalty to Windows and help prepare you for what's next. Windows Backup can help you transfer important files, photos, and apps from your Windows 10 device to a new Windows 11 PC. Learn more about available resources on your Windows journey. So basically Microsoft is saying, hey, we know your computer won't work with Windows 11 because we have our elite class system requirements that your computer doesn't meet. Even though it should perfectly be able to run it, it's not going to. Because why? Because fuck you! That's why! We're Microsoft. Buy a new Windows 11 PC. We'll help you on your journey. You're so loyal. You're a fucking moron. We know that. You're gonna go out and buy a new computer like a good little consumer you are. So, and then our options are, this is a full screen, I can't X out of this. My options are learn more and remind me later. If I hit learn more, what do we get here? Ah, more is possible with a Windows 11 PC. Oh boy. Oh look, this guy's happy. This guy right here, he loves Windows 11. Time-saving tools. Sure. Processor, mid-level. Alright, what is their idea of a mid-level processor? You need a processor that can keep up with everything you do on your PC. Oh, so I need a fucking Pentium 4! Okay, we recommend processors like Core i5 or i7. Oh my god. To keep up with that's a mid-level processor. A mid-level processor is a Core 2 Duo. Anyway, alright. Learn about your computer's processor. I can watch this to learn about my oh, it's blocked. Great, thank you. 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes of RAM. RAM is your computer's memory, which affects its speed and performance. To make sure the device can keep up with you without a glitch, we recommend 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Keep up with me? My main machine here is running, over here, is running 4 gigs of RAM, and it's fine. Alright. 128 gigabytes to 1 terabyte of storage. if you want to save a lot of photos, documents, and videos, well, I don't. Look at in the higher range of 512. What the hell is 512? I've heard of a 500 gigabyte. What is a fucking 512 or 100? Like if you prefer to watch cloud storage, which I don't. 128 gigabyte, 256. What kind of hard drives are we talking about? Oh, I guess we're talking about SSDs, because it says right here SSD. Good old LCD monitors here. We're talking about SSDs, so that's great. Display resolution, FHD to HD. So why do I need that? This monitor's fine. Like, this computer does absolutely nothing besides for playing music. Now, this computer is extreme overkill, by the way, for really anything. This computer is not old. This computer has an i7-6700, so a very high-end processor, a ton of RAM, and I don't know if it shows it, but I think I've got like 120 gigabyte, might be a 250 gigabyte. It's an SSD. It's SATA, but it's an SSD. This computer's enough for anything anyone would want to do on the computer. But in the Microsoft's mind, it's not good enough. It's, what, 2018, so it's like 5 years old. Throw it away, buy a new one. That's what they're telling you. Oh, here's your laptop. So I don't want a friggin' laptop, but you want me to spend at least $500 on a laptop I don't need. It's never easy to it has never been easier to invest in a new device that's powerful, easy to use, and a great deal. A great deal would be like a used Dell Latitude or something like that. Easy for all. Look at that. Here's where you can go and buy your new computer. Oh, here's this fucking Copilot shit that nobody wants. And of course, if I go to system, is it? What am I looking for? Somewhere it says, like, it gives me an error message, or like your PC is at risk because it doesn't support Windows 11. Like, bud, I'm not making a journey to Windows 11. This is the only computer I own that runs Windows 10. Actually, that's a lie. I have one more, which is the exact same thing, and it's actually just a clone of this one, but I use it on the TV. This is the only computer that I have that runs Windows 10 that I regularly use as a computer. That other one just runs an Android emulator. And if I could get away with using Windows 7, I absolutely would. Unfortunately, the piece of software that I run on here has absurd system requirements for an audio player. So I have to use Windows 10. I have to use a newer computer like this. Unfortunately. And I would use a different program, but there's really nothing that works as good. But my main computer is running Windows XP, an operating system from 2001. So, you know, the journey to Windows 10 is not going to happen. I have half of mine. In fact, this is what I'm going to do if this happens again. I have this connected to the network simply because, of course, now it's going to be a pain in the ass. Windows 10 is always a pain in the ass, and it's not focused. I realize that. I have this connected to the network purely because I want to be able to access my file server over there, so that, like, if I download new music or something, I can just copy it on here without having to copy it onto, like, a flash drive or something, and copy it on here first. Because here's the music I currently have on here, and every now and then I'll get a song or some that I want to add to, and I'll just download them, and then I can just transfer them over in the network. I don't have to put a flash drive in. That's the only reason this computer is connected to the network at all. I don't use the internet or anything on it. It literally just runs this one program 24/7. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, if it does this again, is just unplug the network cable so that Microsoft can't get their damn nonsense through to here, because I don't want or need it. But anyway, yeah, so not only did Microsoft pop up a full screen advertisement for Windows 11, basically saying, hey, your computer has Windows 10, you know, you need to use Windows 11, but your computer, even though it's perfectly fine, doesn't support Windows 11, so fuck you, buy a new computer. And then it has the options, and I hate the way they do this. Learn more and remind me later. There was no, I'm not interested, do not show again message, or option. That was not an option. So I'm sure, even though I did hit learn more, just to read what the hell it was, you know, blabbering about, I'm sure that that is going to come back up. But not only did that come up, it closed everything I had open. Like, it just closed it. Everything was closed. So I'm going to have to relaunch it here. This program I use is called Play It Live, by the way. It's a pretty decent program. It's got decent features. It's free. It works very well. And it will run on an older system. Like, I was able to get it to running on Windows 7. But the problem is, after about a day, it crashes. And so I was like, what the hell? And I look at the system requirements, and it says it requires like a 6th gen i7 or later, or some shit like that. I'm like, why the hell does it require that? But I run it on here, and it runs fine, so I don't know. It's stupid, but it works, and I have this computer anyway. So there we go.
Easy does it when you drive.
So we'll go ahead and cut this monitor back off, and hopefully that keeps working. If not, like I said, I'll just unplug the network cable. Cut that off before I get a copyright strike. Anyway, there you go. Microsoft is now pestering Windows 10 people, just like they were pestering Windows 7 people, just like they were pestering Windows XP people. But unfortunately, unlike with Windows XP and with Windows 7, you can't just install, I mean, well, I say unfortunately, like I really care. Like I'm going to upgrade anyway. But unfortunately, like Windows 7 and Windows XP, for the average consumer who is going to be upgrading because they buy into the fear-mongering, and or they are idiots who actually will get infected with stuff because they don't know how to use a computer safely, unfortunately, you can't just upgrade the computer to Windows 11 like you could, you know, from XP to 7 or from 7 to 10. You know, even if your computer is extremely capable, say, you know, it's, well, hell, it's like that one. That computer is extremely capable. That is the most well, that's the second. That's the most fastest machine I own. It still doesn't meet the system requirements. That one there's from 2019. I'm talking about this little small Optiplex right there. Like, 2019 is what? 4 years old. That computer should not have a problem doing anything, and yet it doesn't meet the system requirements of Windows 11. That is absurd. I mean, I don't like Windows 10, but one thing I will give it is that it'll install on anything. Like, I can install Windows 10 on a Pentium 4 system. In fact, I used to run Windows 10 on this HP D530 down here from 2003, and yes, it was as slow as balls. But it did run as good as Windows 10 is capable of running, which is pretty poorly, but once again, you can install Windows 10 on almost anything with a pulse, and it'll run. Windows 11 is like, oh, we require a computer that has, what is it called, TPM 2.0, I don't even know what the hell that is, but it requires it, and it has to have, like, POP CNT, and it has to have an 8th generation Core i5 or later, which is ridiculous. And I'll tell you, some of these cheap laptops that you can buy these days that are running Windows 11 are less powerful than a lot of the older high-end laptops that don't support Windows 11, not because they're not capable of running the software, but because Microsoft has put in arbitrary system requirements. Now, yes, you can use a tool like Rufus or something to bypass those system requirements. However, there are some drawbacks. First of all, your standard user is not going to be able to do that, or not going to be able to go through the effort of doing that. They're not going to know how to do that. So they're going to either stick on Windows 10, which is going to become an issue if everyone keeps using it, unlike XP, where most people moved away from it, so it's really not even worth targeting. Or they're going to just throw their computer out and buy a new computer, which creates a ton of e-waste. It's incredibly wasteful. Replacing something that doesn't need to be replaced just for the hell of it, yeah, that's incredibly wasteful. Companies like to talk about how green they are. But, oh, where was I going with this? I completely blanked out there. Anyway, yeah, it's going to create a ton of waste. You know, Microsoft just decided that they're not going to support it. Oh yeah, the system requirements. You can bypass them, but like I said, the standard users aren't going to be able to do that. And even for people like me, I'm not going to do that. First of all, I have no desire to use Windows 11. I have no interest in it, and I know I'm going to dislike it. Now, Windows 10, I knew I was going to dislike it, but you know what? I gave it a shot multiple times. Because it was free, it was easy to install, and it would run on the computers that I had. So I gave it a shot when it first came out, used it for about a year, didn't like it, got rid of it. A couple years later, I used it for a while. You know, I gave it multiple chances throughout its run to get better, and it just didn't. But the point is, you know, if it takes as much effort, Microsoft obviously doesn't want me to run Windows 11, at least on the hardware that I have. They want me to buy a new computer, which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to go through the effort of bypassing their absurd system requirements just so I can use something I don't want to use. And furthermore, every time a feature update comes out, you can't just install that update. No, no, no. If you bypass the system requirements, it won't let you do that. You're going to have to do a clean install every time a feature update comes out. I'm not doing that. That is stupid. That is absurd. Yeah, fuck that. So I'm not going to do that. And to all the people going, oh, it's the year of Linux. Everyone's going to start using Linux. Keep dreaming. Your average user's not going to use Linux. Linux is not a good option for everyone. Your standard user is not going to want to learn Linux. Most people are not going to use Linux. Keep dreaming if you think that's the case. So, yeah, Windows 10 end of support. As much as I hate Windows 10 and I say good riddance to that, it is going to be a bad thing because Microsoft, I really don't believe, I mean, they have made it clear that they're going to double down on these system requirements. In fact, I don't keep up with Windows 11 news, to be quite honest, but I think I remember hearing that now you cannot, or in the future you're not going to be able to bypass those system requirements at all. So, yeah, that's great. But yeah, anything with say a Core 2 Duo or newer and more than 2 GB of RAM should have no problem running it, but Microsoft and their system requirements. But anyway, this has gone from one thing to another, but I guess it's all related. Anyway, I don't plan on upgrading anytime soon, as should be pretty obvious. So it doesn't really affect me, but it is going to be an issue. There are going to be a ton of perfectly fine computers being thrown away. You know, it's a shit show. It's ridiculous. Microsoft is really going to shit. I mean, they have been since Windows 8. But every release it gets worse and worse. Anyway, there you go. That's the rant of the day. I'll be back in a couple more days when it's time to complain about something else. If you like these rant-style videos, I made a playlist. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. I made a playlist of all of my YouTube rants where I go over all the stupid shit that YouTube has done. I figured most people wouldn't like these rant type of videos because it's just complaining, but it seems like a lot of people actually agree with what I have to say, and made it clear in the last video that I made talking about YouTube that they actually do quite enjoy these rant videos, so I went ahead and put those into a playlist. It's a public playlist, obviously. Anyone can look at it, so I will leave a link to that in the description if you're interested. I might, at some point, go ahead and make a playlist of all the complaining about Microsoft rant videos as well, because I'm not entirely sure how many of those there are, but I'm sure there's quite a few of them. Anyway, it's been 22 minutes, and I am about to run out of memory card. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.